Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here. Let's take a trip from Kalos to Hoenn, and we're bringing Delphox with us. So this is going to be kind of the way I want to set up the series, is just going to see how to update any kind of 6th generation Pokemon that might have been forgotten. We might have not known all the egg moves back when I did the strategy, or it just might be a better Pokemon than we initially thought. I think that could be Delphox. Looking at what it gets from ORAS, that we have Snatch, Magic Coat, Foul Play, and Dazzling Gleam. Interestingly enough, Dazzling Gleam is actually a TM that Delphox can learn in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that it couldn't learn in X and Y, and then the rest of these are going to be your tutors. Now, Magic Coat, I believe, is also an egg move. I had the egg move set up over here. So it's really just going to be Snatch, Foul Play, and Dazzling Gleam that are exclusive to Hoenn Delphox, and it still looks like it could be pretty strong. That Snatch, I like it for a doubles outplay or just kind of a mini shutdown. Foul Play means you can run it tanky and still make it a threat. And Magic Coat, it already has a high special defense, so it could be pretty interesting to use. Looking at stats, it's hard to imagine a Pokemon with these stats not getting a lot of play. That 114 special attack is pretty awesome. We also have a really high amount of speed and a really good special defense. At 104 speed, you're going to be able to outspeed Garchomp, and you can run it timid and just get a really good amount of speed. That can outspeed also a lot of Pokemon that are running Modest as well, but unfortunately it's right on the cusp, that because of a Pokemon like Greninja carrying that obscene just 122 speed, that it's kind of there but kind of not, that it's not like a 122 special attack and then 104 speed, that you're not getting a perfect trade-off with Delphox, so it's going to have to be some kind of tank. When we look at its egg moves are something I didn't really know when I last made my Delphox strategy, and we have Hypnosis, Heat Wave, Magic Coat, and Wish. Wish is an awesome egg move. That now you're giving Delphox Sustain. That Magic Coat is going to make it to where, again, we're looking at the special defense. Heat Wave, a little more damage, a little more doubles viability, a little less accuracy, and Hypnosis, while having a really pitiful accuracy, it works as putting an opponent to sleep, and it might have some kind of usage if we want to use it. So now I was thinking about, well, there's just a ton of potential here. Delphox is a very diverse Pokemon that has a lot of supportive capabilities, a lot of tanky capabilities, and if you look at it, we have Wish, that's tankiness, we have Calm Mind access, we have a lot of things that Delphox can be up to, and it's really crazy. So one of the more standard ideas is just going to be timid nature, that way you get as much speed as possible. 337, still a pretty good speed, and then you just invest the rest in the special attack, you try to go for a Life Orb sweep. Now if you look at it, Flamethrower, Psyshock, and Dazzling Gleam, it's going to give you really awesome coverage. Dazzling Gleam is going to cover against your Dark weakness since you are a Fire Psychic type, and then you have Flamethrower and Psyshock. Now, it would be ideal if you get a hold of Hidden Power Ice as well. That, it does take a lot of time, it does take a lot of effort to get to a Hidden Power Ice, but if you do, that's going to be excellent against Garchomp, Dragonite, and other kind of dragon Pokemon, so that could work out really well. And then I was also thinking, for your other coverage move, it could either be Dazzling Gleam. Some people like Grass Knot. I don't really think Grass Knot works too well on Delphox because it's not really going to do much for you, honestly. So you're just better off going with a Calm Mind potentially. That, if you don't see your opponent setting up hard against you, Calm Mind. Now you have a lot of damage between Flamethrower, Psyshock, and Hidden Power. You hit Super, and you're going to start scoring some KOs. Or, I had a really interesting idea. That what I was thinking is you go Modest, and then you can cut back on a couple of speed EVs, and then go into hit points. Actually, probably not that much. I'm trying to remember what my sweet spot was. So we have all this hit point investment, and then you go for Flame Charge. That instead of trying to set up with the Calm Mind, they used a little extra hit point bulk to go for a Flame Charge. Flame Charge is going to boost your speed by 100%, or 100% chance to boost your speed by 1, so you're going to get 50% boost to your speed. Now you're going to have more damage because of Modest. Life Orb is still going to be there. You're going to have a lot more outspeeds and still a really good amount of damage overall. That you could also carry Dazzling Gleam and just try to coverage out and look pretty good from there. For the ability on this set, I was just thinking you might as well go with Blaze. Magician works if you don't have an item, because Magician is a really awesome ability that does give Delphox some viability and some kind of tricky outplay potential, that the Pokemon steals a hell item of the target if it hits it with a move. Well, that means Magician is going to be really nice, except when you have Life Orb, because Life Orb isn't going to make it to where you're not going to have an item, unless it gets knocked off, but then you're wasting an ability potential just for something that might not happen. I'd rather take my chances with being in the red zone and then having Blaze kick in and doing a lot of damage from there. that we also can look at Delphox from that super supportive doubles idea that I was looking into. That Hypnosis, Foul Play, Snatch, and Wish is going to give you sustain. It's going to make it to where your opponent's going to have a hard time setting up. Snatch is a really neat move. It takes Light Screen, Reflect, Swagger, most status moves as long as they're being used on themselves. Dragon Dance, Swords Dance, Stockpile, any kind of recovery moves. It's a really neat move, so it could be fun to set up in doubles if your opponent isn't expecting it. You have Foul Play for damage, and it's like, there's a couple other things you can put here. You could switch it up and have Calm Mind, and then an offensive move like Heat Wave. Heat Wave is going to hit both opponents in doubles, so Heat Wave, and then if we had Calm Mind, works out. But I've seen some people, they like running Hypnosis. They'd rather take the chance, and it can work out for them. So it can work in the set as well. You can get a lot of defenses. You can shut your opponent down on setup. And then remember, you have another Pokemon doing something. So you can start wishing. You can just make yourself a really big annoyance and do a lot of things from there. I like the idea of Citrus Berry as well. Once you hit half hit points, Citrus Berry is going to heal you up. Now you have Magician potential, and generally it's going to be on that turn. That without investing any speed, you endure the hit. Now you don't have an item, you throw out a hit like Heat Wave or Foul Play, and then their item is yours. An awesome fan named Ian actually tested it out, and Heat Wave appears to be random for stealing the Magician, or stealing an item with Magician. So it's just one of those things, hey, you might get a cool item, and even then you're causing disruption, which is really nice. Now when we're also looking at Delphox, we can just look at some other ideas that a lot of people like running Red Card on Delphox because they hit you, they get bounced out, so if they had any setup or if they were working on some setup, that gets removed, and now you have the opportunity to steal the item of the Pokemon coming in before they even get a chance to attack in some cases. That they're faster than you, they hit you, new Pokemon comes in, you steal their item, so now you have their item, and that means free setup because they're missing an item, and you can work it out from there. That I like the idea of Wish, Will-O-Wisp, Calm Mind, and Psyshock. It's a tough call between like Psyshock, Flamethrower, or something that isn't going to be resisted. Like Psyshock is immune to Dark, and you're already kind of weak against Dark-type Pokemon anyway as a Psychic type. Flamethrower can get walled out by Flame Body, but is going to, well, not Flame Charge. Flamethrower is going to have higher damage, and it's also going to just carry through, but I don't like the idea of the double fire on this set. And then you can also go with Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam is still going to make it to where you're resisted by fire quite a bit, but you have pretty good coverage against a lot of things. And then the main idea here, Calm Nature, that way you're getting the most stats from your special defense. You can invest 252 hit points, 252 into your defense, and play the Wish game. That you wish, you Calm Mind, you set up, and then you can Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp is going to shut down physical Pokemon even more. If you get like 2 Calm Minds into a Will-O-Wisp on a Pokemon, they're not going to have anything. So you have free setup for Wish, you might steal a good item. Worst case scenario is like you steal a choice item, and then you might have to like go for the Dazzling Gleam and whatnot, or you might be locked into an attack. So it does take a little bit of prediction that you might not have to throw out the Will-O-Wisp or Calm Mind initially to get the item, or once you think you know what your opponent's item is, like you see them heal with leftovers, you can suddenly just say, ah, never mind, I want that. So it does give you a lot of pick and choose on the items to a degree, and unless you make like a really risky play, like on the turn that they switch, you throw out the Flamethrower, and it happens to be a Scarf Pokemon, at least you're like Scarf or Choice into an offensive move anyway, and you can still make it work from there. So one really neat combo that Delphox also has is Power Herb Solar Beam. That Power Herb makes 2 turn moves complete in 1 turn. Use Solar Beam, Power Herb gets consumed, Solar Beam lands, steals an item, GG. Now there are a couple of ideas. I was thinking 2v2 hit points, 2v2 speed, and with this you can go for Calm Mind. That way you can, you know, Solar Beam, try to get a KO, try to get a monstrous amount of damage, steal an item, Calm Mind, Psyshock, Flamethrower sweep. Or you can, that's going to be with the 2v2, or you can just kind of go for the all-out attack and then carry Magic Coat. Magic Coat your opponent might not expect. You're a fairly durable Pokemon, so I mean, Solar Beam, if that's super effective, that has a very high chance of KOing. It can also have like a lot of really good follow-up potential. Use Psyshock into Magic Coat or Magic Coat into an attack, and your opponent might get caught off guard, and that's a KO right there. So here's the interesting thing, it's like, no one's really using Delphox, and you can kind of see why, that there's a lot of bits and pieces. Some things seem like they'd be really awesome, but they don't really come through as much. Like, I was looking, I was like, Delphox should be busted, but in practice, it really isn't. And it's just because, like, the speed isn't quite there to be a sweeper, the offenses work well, but not well enough. Like, I was running a lot of damage calculations, and even on a lot of neutral hits, it's like, 80-ish%, even with a life orb, so you're lacking just ever so slightly on those KOs, and, you know, it could come from just you need to set up more calm mines, you need to play a riskier speed game, and overall it's not like the most reliable Pokemon, even though it has some high outplay potential. Doubles has a lot of potential, Magician and singles can really disrupt your opponent, and whether or not Delphox can sweep from there, it's kind of risky. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's how we take Delphox from Kalos to Hoenn and make it a bit better. If you guys enjoyed the video, I hope you all have a nice day.